Hello, and welcome to a quarantine edition of Obscura Undead Does Goth News.
Woo!
Yeah, I'm Azy.
I'm Ian.
And we're going to run through some kind of COVID-related news and also talk about new releases. So, the one thing everyone's been doing recently is live streams, and there was a really big live stream that... Gosh, I think I saw at one point like 4,000 people watching it, and then that number just kept going up because what the fuck was I doing? I was running around, I think talking to you, Ian.
I think, yeah, we were talking, and yeah. I don't even think I paid attention to the viewership count on it, which was my bad, but...
So what we're talking about, though, just to let you know first before we start actually like getting into it, is the Gothicat Festival.
Gothicat Online Festival.
The Gothicat Online Festival. And they had, some 24 plus bands. So it was an online charity event, I think to benefit United Nations. It was a COVID-related fund. And they played, 2 hours plus of unreleased live video clips and... home recordings or just concert footage that had never been released before of all kinds of awesome bands. So
because what I caught of it was great. So
yes, cool. So I caught some stuff that I was like, all right, this is a really interesting acoustic version, and because it was like a home recording, and other stuff I got really excited to see. Really excited to see the Geometric Vision submission because I was actually at that show. It was when they played Jelly Dream, Sans Vulcan, RIP, at Treffen last summer, and so that was the live footage that they played for Geometric Vision, and I was so happy, and I'm like, does it have that particular part of the stage that I was at? No. Shoot. But it was really cool, seeing all of my friends in the chat, just flooding past because that damn thing was moving too fast.
Yeah, I couldn't even keep up with it. Trying to watch the chat and Facebook, it lets you do all the little hearts and likes and everything on it. Half my screen was just covered in, floating hearts and thumbs ups.
Oh, you were watching it on mobile? Because I didn't see that on desktop.
No, I watched it on desktop.
Oh, no, I have that disabled because I hate it. That's right. Because I hate it. I hate it so much. All the floating hearts and thumbs and laughs, and I don't care. I don't care what people feel about this. Yeah.
So, yeah, they had, like you said, over 24 bands.
They had big names.
Who was the host?
It was Andre from The Wave of Things, and that is, I watch his show on YouTube, and I really enjoy it. It's another sort of music review news sort of show that kind of in the style of what we do, but honestly a little bit better because we're a hot mess. We are Obscura Undead, your weekly shit show.
Did a good job.
Yeah, he did a really good job. So the festival was hosted by Gothicat, which is a just to get some context on it because we're just excited that it happened, so we jump ahead of ourselves. It was hosted by Gothicat, which is a cat-themed goth merch like storefront online run by the folks at Ashcode. So they have t-shirts for the Sisters of Musi, I think.
I've seen a few of their...
Oh god, I was recently looking at their pins because they have so many cute cat-themed pins, and I can't recall any off the top of my head. I am absolutely blanking.
But if you want to listen to their past shows, they've got YouTube, Spotify, and Deezer.
Yeah, Deezer's a new one that I'm not super familiar with, but I need to get my ass on there. Yeah, we'll put the links in the video description as well. But to give you an alphabetized list of some of our favorite bands that were included, they had Agent Sidegrinder, Ashcode, Antipole, 8
Clan of
projection.
Zymox.
Clan of Zymox.
Oh, I did it out of order.
You did! Stop it. Crew Lies, which I know that during the Crew Lies performance, some people got a little shitty in the chat because of Ian's shorts. So that is the downside of, like these live streams, is that if someone wants to go in and be a dick, it's a lot easier to be a dick in a live stream than to stand drunkenly yelling at the back of a venue.
Everybody's a keyboard commando.
Oh, yeah. Aunt was in there.
Empathy Test. Apex.
Lebanon Hanover.
Minwi Machine.
Molchat Doma, which I know everyone flipped their shit over because Molchat Doma is super hot right now.
Cellophane.
Yeah.
Their new video is cool, by the way.
I haven't watched it yet.
It's really good.
But I liked the like 80s robot makeup. It was great.
That is featured heavily in the new video. And so is their background ballet dancer that they have. She's in the video with them.
Yeah, I like the performative aspect of like all of their stuff. But again, off topic.
Away.
Skeleton hands.
Syzygics.
Swizzle sticks.
I caught them, and they too caught a lot of crap from the chat from people, which was not cool.
Way not cool. Then comes Silence. Oh my goodness.
Oh my god, their cover of Christine is so good.
Their cover of Susie's Christine is so fucking good. It's really good, and the way that they recorded it, I thought was... Yeah. I thought the way that they recorded it was super cool. It's just like footage of them doing it in their homes, and you can tell them they've been working remotely. Like they have that experience, and they're just sitting there with their headphones, like playing along, and it cuts between. I liked the presentation of the video. Yeah.
Yeah, I really liked that. What else? She passed away.
You said she passed away, but Twin Tribes.
Twin Tribes, Soviet. Oh god.
No, Soviet. I think is in. I think they're doing the next one, which. So don't read the next list yet. We have 2 lists. One is this past one, and then we have the upcoming one because they're doing a part 2, which I think is really cool because they raised over like $6,000 for the United Nations Coronavirus Fund. Which was that's killer. I mean, especially I don't want to talk about politics, but that was really killer. The Gothy Cat Festival, I would say it was an absolute success. Like people tuned in from all around the world. I saw a ton of people in there. Yeah, some people were shitty, but just the amount of support and everything that was given.
And I'm not trying to spin it negative.
Oh, I know, but.
Of Asara's. Overall, everything I saw was a lot of love and a lot of support, and people that only see each other at shows or festivals that were reuniting online. It was like, hey, I haven't seen you or talked to you since Treffin or this show, and so it's really cool. I thought it was really kind of neat. Or people just making friends virtually online, like, oh, so and so. Well, I'm going to friend you now. I saw that happen a couple times.
Yeah, I've gotten so many friend requests since we started doing the Friday live streams, and I was like, I have no idea who you are, but you look like a really cool death rocker, and you post music I like, so yeah, let's be friends.
Cool.
Yeah. But I know that the festival did draw some criticism. I saw people basically, like one or two out of, the thousands who viewed it, so 1 or 2 people complaining that it was one giant ad for Gothic Cat merch, and it's like... Fuck you, buddy. Fuck you. Like, why do you gotta shit on shit?
People, those are the same people that are complaining that bands are asking when they're doing these live streams for themselves. They're asking people to buy their merch, buy their albums, and getting upset about that. So, but they're also the same people that will rip music and feel like.
And don't go to live shows anyway. So.
Right.
Or if they do, they're probably fighting with the door person over a cover.
Yeah.
Who knows? Anyway.
So now, because it was such a success, we can jump finally maybe ahead to Gothic Cat 2. Which is going to be similar to the first one. We have the confirmed bands.
Well, Chameleon's Vox is one of the confirmed bands.
Kaylin Mikla.
Rendezvous.
Son Sombra.
Principe Valiente. She pleasures herself.
Sig Sig Sputnik.
Soviet, Soft Riot. The
Chem-
Devil in the Universe, who I know is really popular, but Saigon Blue Rain. Dark Door.
Foreign Resort, the KBB.
Tempers. So a lot of really big, like, darkwave and post-punk names, which is super
And that's
cool.
just what's confirmed.
That's just what's confirmed. And that's already a lot. That's starting to reach how many they had in the first one. So, and they say that it's going to be 2 hours of unreleased music. And this is going to come on May 1st, I believe. Or is it 2nd? I just discovered something really cool about Gothy Cat 2. They are having a... they're actually having a DJ.
Okay, it is May 2nd.
May 2nd. Well, on May 2nd and May 1st, like, this is a little bit depending on your time zone, but I guess on like before the festival, they are having DJ Evangel, who I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, is doing a video live stream on Friday the 1st of May. That's actually really cool. I completely missed this until
Yep, that's the warm-up
right now.
party.
That's super cool.
And that is going to be at 10 p.m. UTC.
+2.
+2.
I don't know what that translates to for Florida time. Or anyone's time, for that matter.
I think +2, I think it would be like midnight here.
Oh,
Midnight on the east coast of the U.S.
so like 2 a.m.? I'm free at
So
2 a.m.
UTC is like Greenwich Mean Time.
Let's figure this out later.
Either way, it'll be on Friday night.
It'll be on Friday night.
Or if you're in another side of the world, that would be like Saturday afternoon. Or Saturday morning.
I don't know. Time is fuzzy. I've always been bad at time. It's just been worse in quarantine.
Like, if you're in Australia, you're in the future.
But it is going to be streamed on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. And the cool thing about the way that they had the first one set up is we talked about how they had a host or presenter, and it was they introduced the festival, played a clip, introduced the band, next band, played a clip, introduced the next band, played a clip, and like all of the commentary was just spot on. It was great. And I think that they're having someone different host the second one. But I thought that the way that they did it was really cool. They had someone in a third location, I think. What's the word I'm looking for? Doing the live stream of the video. So they had like a team of people working on it, because it does kind of take a team of people to do the live streams.
Yeah, and it looks like this was... doesn't say when it was created, so this is pretty much like, from what I can tell, it seems like it's pretty new news. Like, this was just announced.
Oh, the festival?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The second one.
It was. They were, they created a Gothy Cat group for it, and basically encouraging people to, like, dump obscure bands and stuff in there. To be honest, I would love to see this same idea done with, like, death rock and goth and, like, more tiny obscure bands and less crowd drawing bands, if that makes any sense. In other words, I want to see something tailored to Azy's obscure interests. So our next piece of news is Bandcamp had such a successful day for artists when they waived fees. What was that, back in March? Is it still March?
Yeah,
no, it's April.
It was it the beginning of April?
Like I said, time's gotten weird in quarantine. But on May 1st, they're doing it again. They are going to waive all of their platform fees, all of their cuts, and giving everything directly to the artist. So if you can hold off buying music for that long, wait until May 1st.
Yeah, and what's crazy about it too is I know I tried to get in there a few times.
Oh my god, they had such platform like problems.
Ooh, I mean, it was crazy trying to get in there to...
Watching that feed on the front page just whoosh by as people were just like snapping shit up, that was intimidating. If you could get into it.
Right, and that was what I had a problem with, was when I went to go do it, I'm like, all right, well, I can't do it right now. And then
yeah, but I'm hoping that this is just as successful. I can't imagine why it wouldn't be just as successful. I've seen some bands not releasing their music because they haven't been able to, like work on it or practice or anything like that. But I've seen other bands releasing a lot of like quarantine mixes because, you're sitting on your ass at home. Music is your outlet. Create music. Which I think is super cool.
And with technology where it's at, you can easily collaborate with your bandmates if you've got a full band going.
I think it depends on your technological proficiency and how you're used to working, because it does require like different kinds. It does require a different kind of setup.
It does, but there's been stuff coming out where you've got one artist that's here in the States and the other one's over in Europe.
Right, but that music tends to be a touch more electronic based. So
somebody recently where it was, I think it was like a guy and a girl. I can't remember who the band was, and I feel like crap, but they were able to pull it together. Like, she was able to give her vocals to his instruments, and he was not doing electronic.
That's cool. I mean, I'm sure it helped that it was two people. I know that a lot of bands are kind of struggling to like find that new balance because the future looks bleak. So we recently were looking at this article from NME about sort of the future landscape of music if we can't gather because there are social restrictions, venues can't open and have the same volume of people, live streaming, and the piece predicted, we'll link it below, the piece predicted that live streams are kind of gonna become the way of the future, because once artists realize, and this is like something that was said in the article, once they realize that if all they need to do is perform a live show is to have a podium for a laptop, they can figure out how to record from home. Okay, that might be true of some bands, fine. But I know that this probably is going to become a way that we consume music moving forward, is via band live streams and having to not leave our homes and having that experience where we can catch a show in, Berlin from Tampa because of live streaming or something like that.
I want to be clear. I mean, I think in the short term, I think that's where we're going to be at. But, a year from now, a year and a half from now, I think it will be starting to get back to normal. It's just I think the harder part is going to be, it's going to either be one of two things. Either bands can't sustain long enough, and so it's a wasteland of like trying to find acts to get booked, or you're going to have like this mass rush of bands trying to get venues to play in. Oh,
that'll absolutely happen. I mean, I'm sure that a lot of venues that usually book bands have like wait lists longer than your leg. But my concern with these live streams is that I think there is some expectation that these are gonna become really regular, and that works for some bands. But in the long term, like I know that my buddy Jim over at Push Button Press, so they're a full band. They do post-punk, and he was saying that, doing just live streams, it's not enough to keep the momentum going that they would have had performing at festivals. I mean, and yeah, on a live stream, you can get a bigger reach for your audience. You potentially have every single person in the world with a phone or computer or an internet. Like, that is your potential audience. But as this goes on and bands figure out how to exploit this new this new territory because they have to, we're gonna see like a huge oversaturation, and it's just gonna be way more competition than if you're playing a gig in town that on the same night as 3 other bands.
Yeah. I think, and this is something I've seen on a social level, I've been seeing a lot more people starting to pull back during the quarantine from their access to online stuff. Like, they're like, okay, I need to disconnect
because
and pull
there's
away.
so much of it.
It's not just the music, though. I think it's just everything happening in the world. So now people are, I don't know if this will be a permanent thing for them and they'll want to reconnect again, but I'm seeing people want to pull away from social media, from everything going on around them, because it's just too much happening. I think maybe that's what you were trying to say.
No, but I think that is an excellent second point.
Okay. So yes, there are too many bands, but I think there's too much else going on in the world that it's becoming overwhelming for people to want to stay engaged with what's going on in social media or online in general. And I think that's a struggle that bands may be facing as this goes on as well, is getting that audience who now it's like, I'm pulling away from the internet. I can't go to a venue and I don't want to be online dealing with people arguing about politics. And
I think that's definitely something that's going through like a lot of people's minds. But as far as live streaming becoming the future of music as we sort of adapt to this new normal, I kind of really like I need to get like a data sample. I need to talk to a bunch of bands and ask, like, is this going to be a financially viable solution to not touring for you? Because I'm not so sure. We don't have a lot of information on that right now, and I don't think that a band can sustain doing complete live streams. But I do think that after this ends and we are able to go back to the way that, you know, we were functioning, you go out to a venue and you see a band, I think that we're going to see bands actually live streaming more their practices or shows and things like that, in addition to doing live shows. I don't think that one is going to replace the other, or, you know, maybe live streams will become a majority thing. I think that live streams will just end up being a supplemental thing for bands, say like in between tours or things like that, because bands had to take off work to do tours.
And this might be an opportunity, like this is something we had discussed about prior, of like a lot of bands get their exposure being an opening act or a supporting act for a bigger name artist. So you might start seeing bands partnering up with those artists, saying, hey, if you're doing a live stream, you know, like agents talking to each other, let us still open for you. You know, like, let us do a 15 or 20 minute set before you're ready to go on and do your live stream. Right.
Well, combining live streams, I haven't seen a way of doing that. That doesn't mean that one doesn't exist, but I've seen when that happens, it be like clip shows, like what Gothy Cat was doing. But right. I think that if we have more organized like things like that moving forward, I think that would probably be the only way that a smaller band might be able to get like that sort of exposure in the same fashion.
Right. And it wouldn't surprise me if, you know, which comes up to the next part we'll talk about with like the live DJ streams and platforms adapting to that. I wouldn't be surprised if bands start adapting to that, like, hey, let's make our technology work so that we can open for you, or here, we'll send you some recorded stuff of ours that we did. You know, would you play this before you go on?
Oh God, Obscure Undead really needs to do something. I really want to put together a clip show now. So, I mean, it would be the same thing as like promoters who put together like music showcases and things in their hometown. It would be a similar kind of idea, and it might be that a band now is more likely to say yes. That sounds great. But yeah, time will tell on that. This is just pure speculation. But another thing that we're looking at that is similar but unrelated to bands that we have more direct experience with is DJ streams, because now everyone and their fucking grandma is DJ streaming, like is doing live streams of their DJ sets.
Before, you're now a DJ.
Yeah, like Ian, DJ Vamp Daddy. Still really entertained that name stuck. Oh, it's perfect. I love it.
I like it. It's okay. It's good.
So a lot of DJ streams, of which there are now many, have been migrating over to Twitch lately because Facebook and YouTube are giving so many mutes, cutting streams, copyright crackdowns. I've seen a few people complaining of not being able to start live videos or having their stream key locked on Facebook. So people are moving over to Twitch. And we're planning on doing that as well, simply because we don't want to get our YouTube channel or our Facebook pages nuked, because that would suck.
Right. So for example, like with me, like I couldn't even stream on YouTube. Like that completely just, they wouldn't even let me do anything before I played music.
Yeah.
But then the muting, the cutting the stream.
Yeah, I mean, some DJs have gotten around the copyright strikes, because on Facebook, we suspect, and by we, I mean like DJs who are doing this shit, because a lot of us are talking to each other and sharing information. We suspect that it's because there are too many copyright pings on a live stream, so it cuts the stream length down to like an hour or a half hour. And the more pings you have, the shorter it cuts it. And I would definitely say that's true, because I tried playing a set that had like the most obscure like Spanish death rock demos and shit, and it let me run for like 90 minutes. Usually it cuts me off at an hour.
Whereas I was playing things that were more well-known.
Like 80s top 40, like Jangle Goth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that ended up, like, I couldn't even go a half hour without the stream resetting.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, I just realized that I had double Ian on the OBS for like most of our talking.
Oh my god.
I fixed it.
But I will say this, towards the end of the night, I was, and it really sucked because I got down to my last 3 songs, and I was playing more obscure goth, and my stream got cut after a half hour.
Man.
So, like, I was down to the last 3 songs, and
yeah, and I had that happen. My stream got cut, and I was still promised 2 songs. So I'm just like, fuck it, I'm back up for another 10 minutes. Who gives a shit?
That's what I did,
and it sucks because viewer retention.
Right, but so I don't know if it's because I was playing more well-known stuff, but this was even later on in the night when I wasn't playing well-known stuff. Like, I was playing stuff that had just been released that was on a really small independent label. So
it depends on how it's licensed, but
right, it's a crapshoot.
It's a crapshoot, and I expect Facebook and YouTube are gonna shut down a lot more shit moving forward, and so a lot of DJs are migrating to Twitch because they don't have these like cutting your stream like every half hour issue. But Twitch, I think, has the most unambiguous policy on DJ live sets, in which they very explicitly say, this is against our policy, do not do it. So I expect Twitch, once they catch on, is gonna start cracking down on that as well. But fear not, there's actually a new service that launched on Monday. We're recording Wednesday the 22nd. So on the 20th, a new service launched via Mixcloud called Mixcloud Live. And it's in beta. They rolled it out way sooner than they said they wanted to. But the gist of it is, anyone with a Mixcloud Pro account, which you pay like $15 a month for, can video or audio stream their live DJ sets to Mixcloud for people to watch live. And the great part is there are no copyright strikes because you're essentially paying for a digital DJ license through this program. And bands will get royalties for being played. And if I sound really optimistic about it, it's because this is what I have been bitching about. Please, Facebook or YouTube, just let us buy a digital DJ license to fucking do this on your platform. So this has the potential to be perfect. Well, maybe not perfect, but this is the potential to be a really optimal solution for both DJs looking to run a continuous stream and bands to be able to actually make money off of these DJ streams, even if it's like 10 cents. It's something. because it's basically royalty fees, and venues and bars have to pay licensing fees to different agencies in order to actually have DJs or even play like those fucking jukebox things you see like stapled to the wall. They have to pay a license for that. So if a DJ spins in a club, that club should be paying a license. So this is that same sort of idea, just imported into a digital space in a way that Mixcloud was already doing, but with live streams. But like I said, it's in beta. I might be way too optimistic about this. Who knows? But it beats having my shit nuked.
Yeah, for real.
And a lot of people already use Mixcloud, so hopefully it won't be too much of a stretch to get people to tune in via that service. Now, of course, there are still some problems with it that have been reported. It doesn't archive live streams. They're working on that. And I don't know what chat functionality looks like. Also, I know a lot of DJs have been signing up for it, and they've been overloaded, and I haven't been able to get into like the damn thing to just sign up for a pro account. And I don't know how it ties in with their Mixcloud Select program yet. But it's still new. I am really, really optimistic about this service. Mm-hmm. Sorry, I kind of totally just dominated like the discussion of this, Ian. Sorry.
No, you're fine, because this is something, like you said, we've been kind of talking about for Obscure Undead's live virtual nightclub. Mm-hmm. And you know, my personal concern, because like through Facebook, it's been really nice to get to chat with people that we're not able to see right now. Right, and just new people. I love being able to talk to people so much. So if the chat functionality is there, if it's decent, and people are willing to sign up an account there, which what I have seen, you can easily use your Facebook account to create an account on Mixcloud. So with doing that, I think it would be a good thing. So if you can use the chat feature, I'm all for it. I'd like to see the artists get paid. Like, I don't feel right like playing someone's music. Yeah. You know, like it's a labor of love for them, and oh, I feel them not getting some kind of reward for it.
I feel the same way, which is why I'm trying to like spread this around as much as possible, because it's the only option that supports video streaming that I've been able to find. And please, if anyone knows of anything else, please let us know. But it's the only streaming option that supports video, because there are audio-only streaming services that cater to DJs. And video is really important. Like, I like having that aspect.
Yeah. I mean, I've actually had a few friends that are DJs come to me asking, like, how did we do what we're doing? Yeah.
And I love that there's, despite the fact that everyone is DJing right now, there isn't I've noticed too much of a competitive mindset where DJs won't share information or help each other with programs or platforms. Like, it's very collaborative right now, and DJs are like co-spinning shit like from different corners of the world, and I think that it's really, really cool, and I love people consuming this new media. See, DJ live streams, that I can see becoming something that becomes more common in the future.
It's good because you get exposed to newer music, but I think the downside, which is what we all feel and we're all painting over right now, is like for those of us who do go out to nightclubs to listen to music, that social interaction is not the same in the virtual, but it's been a big help for a lot of people. Like, hey, what are you drinking right now? Oh, I'm having a rum and coke, and you know, here's a photo of how I'm dressed at the moment, and you know, like I got all dressed up as if I was going to the club, and that's been a really nice feature of it, creating this virtual community. Right. So I applaud it. I think it sucks that Facebook and YouTube are not having any of it. I mean,
I honestly would have expected them, like, with all their capitalist greed, to like notice this and jump on it so fucking fast.
Right.
But
so even YouTube, which is where we're at right now, I know for my own channel when I've played copyrighted music in like my intros of some of my videos, I'll get a notice from YouTube saying, yeah, your video is okay, but guess what? You can't monetize it. We're going to monetize it for you.
Yeah.
So I would think YouTube would jump on that and be like, hey, but I know it also depends on the label and it depends on the artist.
It depends on the country. It depends on a lot of stuff. So I get it that it probably would be a long timeline because there's so many different legalities. But we'll see. I really do hope that Mixcloud Live, which, we're not getting paid to talk about it, but I really hope that this service pans out because I think it could be beneficial for DJs and artists at the exact same time. Right. And fans. And people just want to listen to music because yay music. That's why we're all here. The last piece of news before we run through like rapid fire through a bunch of new releases that we wanted to tell you guys about. The last piece of news is Mick Mercer, who quite literally wrote the book, several the books on Goth, back, when everything was first starting out. He's a very famous music journalist. If you've never heard of Mick Mercer, go check out, go to your local library. Well, don't go to your local library. Order his books online through, I think he self-publishes through Lulu now. But just go check him out. But the point is, Mick Mercer's really cool. He's an awesome music journalist. He has done so much to support the scene from literally fucking day one. He is going to start his fanzine Panache back up, mostly because he has a lot of time. Quarantine is bored, but that has been.
That's been the first, hasn't seen the light of day, he said, since early-ish 90s.
Yeah, so this was his music fanzine, that it was the first thing he says he ever wrote for. And honestly, we need more music fanzines. And from Mick Mercer, I don't know how he's going to publish it. I love that he's working on it. I want to read it. I want to read all about it. You go and look at the bands that he has written about, and if there's a band that gets big or is eventually influential, Mick Mercer was probably there when, they were first stepping out of their garage to go to a gig. This man's in the know. I don't know, he's a cool guy. I have a lot of admiration and respect for him, but that might just be because I am an amateur music journalist myself. Who the fuck knows? But in his very, very long announcement that he was starting this back up on his personal page, he says that... oh shit, what did he say? He said, crap, where is it? There's a lot of text. Fanzines, fanzines are special, the finest form of music publication motivated by nothing but enthusiasm. And that's, I think, something that's very, very true. I prefer reading fan opinions of albums than over major news outlets, because it is motivated by enthusiasm. They're not doing it because they're getting paid. They're doing it because they genuinely love something that they came across. So
yeah, and he said it's going to be quarterly. That's his plan.
Yeah, well, I hope he's more motivated than we are on our quarterly zine, which it's almost done. We're going to have it 5 months instead of 4 months, but to be fair, quarantine threw us for a loop.
Huge loop. We were in the middle of planning the print version of it when shit hit the fan. Yes,
so instead of doing a print version, and I totally didn't mean to use this as a segue into our zine, Unobscured, which has only had one issue, but we're working on issue number 2. The reason why it's taking longer is because now suddenly we're not publishing a printed 26-page zine. We are working on a digital 40-page zine because we simply don't want to put physical media in people's hands right now, because despite our best sanitation efforts. We don't know where the folks at the post office have been. We don't know where the carriers have been. We don't know where that letter has fallen on the ground. We just didn't want to deal with that. So instead, we're making just one giant digital super scene. Yeah, I mean, so that's cool. Ian, have you seen any other news that you wanted to talk about?
I haven't seen a lot. It's been actually fairly quiet. Let's see here. Entertainment news, non-music entertainment news. That I know there was one piece about Neil Gaiman saying that Sandman was ready to roll.
Yes!
A live-action version of Sandman.
On Netflix. And Gaiman wrote the pilot episode, I think. Do we have more information on that? When's it gonna roll?
Well, that's going to be the hard part. How do you get that to roll when pretty much everything is on lockdown?
Well, it's...
And if you're not familiar with Sandman, I would highly recommend trying to get a copy of a couple issues or one of the graphic novels.
You can read them digital if you don't hate reading comics online.
Let's see. He's got all the scripts written for the first season. They started casting it. Directors have been hired. Sets were being built. Everything was ready to go into production, and then they hit the pause because of what's going on in the world. So once things kind of start lifting up, Sandman is on track to get filming.
That's awesome.
The art's beautiful in it, and I've seen way too many goth girls dressing up like death. Yeah, anyway, Sandman's really good. I mean, it's a great book, comic book, graphic novel,
all around experience, lifestyle.
Yeah. So I have high hopes for it. And it'll be interesting to see what happens. I think that's the only other new news. There was a death. Matthew Seligman, the bassist for the Soft Boys, Peter Murphy, David Bowie, Thomas Dolby, many more, passed away.
Yeah, that was coronavirus, right?
Let's verify this one, because I don't want to say yes and then...
I was trying not to give bad news. I was trying to talk about exciting things.
Let's see. Let's see. Oh, yep, it was from COVID-19.
Okay.
Oh wow.
Let's not get into it. Let's announce it and move on unless it's really important, because this is... I don't want to talk about bummer news.
Well, okay. The only piece on it, I didn't realize he had played bass with Bowie for Labyrinth and Absolute Beginners. The song Absolute Beginners.
Stop.
So...
Okay. Well, that wraps up our news portion.
It's a good movie.
Let's talk about releases. So this is one downside to the live stream format, is we don't fucking shut up, and shit gets a little long. So let's try to move through these new releases as quickly as possible. I'm going to start out with talking about a new compilation that is being released on May 1st, Bandcamp Day, May 1st on Venus Aeon Records, called Blood and Dust, a gothic western. It is basically a yeehaw goth compilation that Obscura Undead helped put together with TG of Venus Aeon. So of course I'm going to talk about it, like I had a hand in it. And there are 2 tracks available that you can listen to. So the whole idea of the compilation is to capture tracks that have sort of like a Western flavor, because we've kind of been hearing, Mouse and I have talked about it a little bit before on review episodes, like this whole cowboy goth feel in some
goth.
bands. Yeehaw goth, yeah.
Love it.
Which I asked TG to tag it as on Bandcamp, and it is going to be the first ever Yeehaw goth release on Bandcamp. But the 2 tracks that you can listen to right now are October Burns Black's Arrowhead, which is a track that has been out for a while, and Son Sombra's cover of Fields of the Nephilim's Slow Kill. And if that doesn't set the tone of the goddamn comp for you, I don't know what else will. It's a killer comp. Like if it's all of your black duster, cowboy hat, goth aesthetic dreams.
When I saw the announcement for that, I was shooketh. Because I had no idea. Like, you guys kept it so well under wraps that you were working on this. Or if you had said anything about it, like...
Oh, no, we didn't. And usually we don't shut up about what we're doing.
Right. And that was one of those things that, like, popped up, and I'm like, this is really cool. And I was excited. And I am excited, so it's awesome.
Yeah, and that's on Venus Aeon.
Woo!
All right, other new releases coming up or have recently been released. Have we talked about Utsy's upcoming album? We did, actually. We did a little bit, but so it's Storm. It's coming up on May 22nd, which, oh my god, that was fucking today. How did I miss that? Okay, I need to go listen to this shit tomorrow because I need to sleep after this. But, oh god, I can't comment on it anymore because I need to go listen to all of the rest of it. But they did release a new single for it, Hold Still. Yeah. Okay. And like I said, we're trying to quick fire through these. Alright, what's the next one?
We had Hapix. They're live in quarantine. That comes out May 30th, so that kind of goes back to bands working on albums while in quarantine. So yeah, that comes out. It's called Live in Quarantine.
Oh, good. That's descriptive.
Yeah.
Sydney Valette released... Shit, please open this. Thank you. Sydney Valette released their album Brothers on April 8th. And it's a bit more harder synth pop than I would have expected from their previous release, How Many Lives, their LP, which I really enjoyed. So Brothers was a little bit of a different direction. It was a little harder in a way that I didn't like, but there was still some tracks that just really hit it for me, and yeah, the cover's really pretty too. I know that doesn't... Okay, so I buy albums sometimes based on how nice the cover is. Well, that's not true. I look at them based on how nice the cover is. But anyway, moving on. I'm sorry.
Let's see. Solveig Matilda from Kaylin Mikla. She had some stuff come out last week on the 17th. Let's see, which was Politician. Constantly in Love. I believe that's the name of the... Is that the name of the album?
Wasn't Constantly in Love the name of her last album?
That was even the last album, so I stand correct. So this one is called Politician of Love.
Oh, I think it's just a single.
It is. So there was a new release that came out last week on the 17th, Politician of Love. I have not listened to it yet. I suck.
Yeah, I haven't listened to that either. Another new release on a Brazilian label called Dark, with a Q, Distro, by a band called Factura. It's not an album, it's an EP called Danos. And it is this really cool, like dark wave, like vibe, like I listened to like 30 seconds of a track and I was just like, I've fallen in love already. Like it doesn't sound like a lot of the dark wave that's coming out now, which is more.
So the track that Azy and I both listened to, I listened to maybe 15 more seconds than they did of that same track. The track is called Muro. So from my take on it, it had a very... the synth on it felt like the song Warm Leatherette by The Normal, and that then it was redone by Grace Jones, but it's got that same synth feel sound to it, but then it turns like weird, almost kind of like weird Russian synthy sound.
I don't know. It had a darkwave sound that I feel set it apart from a lot of the other darkwave we've been hearing, which is kind of starting to unfortunately fall into a little bit of a mold. Mm-hmm. So I was really excited about the sound of this band. So their text says, the trio formed in 2020 in the dystopian city of Sao Paulo, brings in its formation Camila Martins, Leandro Rezende, and Carlos Costa. The cruel and dehumanized romanticism of these four tactics is rather an almost photographic naturalism in its lyrical and sonic description of personal and social relations. I wouldn't know. It's in, I'm assuming, Portuguese, which is not a language that I speak, and there are no lyrics, so I will take the word of that for it, but if you listen to it, it sounds like that.
Yeah,
it's great. I loved it.
Yep. So where else were we at?
A Starry Night. Oh, I'm trying to get my link to open.
I think they just put their new video out today for Capulet.
Thank you. I didn't know where stress was in that.
Is it Capulet?
Loves Montague.
Gosh, Romeo and Juliet. So that just came. The video came out today though, because I didn't get a chance to watch it, but I did see them posting about the video hitting.
Right. So that is off of their upcoming album Here Lies, which is releasing May 8th. Which I am looking forward to hearing the rest of the album. I'm hoping to do a review of it. That would be super. But they have track 8, Gloomy Witch, is remixed by Twin Tribes, and track 9, Dearly Beloved, is remixed by Visborg, which cool. Super fucking cool. Really looking forward to digging into it.
I want to talk about Tearful Moon because
of course
I like this band. My wife loves them. Their album came out April 1st. The album is called Under the Red Veil. It's a very provocative album cover for some.
Yeah, I think Sky got banned on Facebook for a couple of days for posting photos from that shoot. Oops.
Yeah, I could see why. I mean, it's a bare chest. I mean, I'm not agreeing with it, but I can understand.
There's no nipples. It's eyeballs.
Right, it's eyeballs over the nipples, but it's a bare-chested woman with eyeballs instead of nipples. But the two tracks that I really liked off of it, that I have played now a couple times, and like I said, my wife absolutely loves them. The Lost King and I Love You More Than Death are really good tracks.
I Love You More Than Death is such a sweet, broken, fucked up track, and I like it.
It is. The lyrics are just like, wow, like, yeah, it's a good album. So, and Skeletons in the Closet, I did like that track too.
Yeah. Well, I particularly enjoyed the new Tearful Moon album now that I've had a chance to listen to it all the way through because Sky's vocals on it. I really liked Evocation, but what she did with her vocals on Under the Red Veil just sound more dynamic and emotional, which I'm honestly not surprised considering the last album was called Evocation and it had that Evocation feel to it. And I liked that album, but I have a new love by Tearful Moon.
Yeah. It's a good album.
It is. Let's see. The Secret French Postcards on April 10th released their EP Out of You. And I haven't given it a deep listen, but I've everything I've heard on it, I'm just like, yes. Because the Secret French Postcards they're fucking great. Come on.
Okay, should we talk about I Am the Shadow?
Oh yes. I'm really digging just like the beat on this album.
I like it. It's
and there are 2 tracks on it that you can get. One is like Awake, and the other one is Asleep and
Awake and Asleep, and then Always.
Always. I knew that there were A's in there. Awake and Asleep features Diego Merletto from the Frozen Autumn, and it is a male-male duet, which I feel you don't hear often, and I feel you don't hear enough. It's amazing.
So I picked up those 2 tracks, and I enjoyed both of them, and the album, the cover art is beautiful. It's so simple, and I like it. So the album's called Pitch Black. Did we name the album yet? The full album, though, does not hit until May 13th, so we have to clarify that one. You can buy the 2 tracks now, but the full one doesn't come out until May 13th.
Oh, bummer. I hate that. I hate waiting. All I do in quarantine is wait. Okay, so there is it's a 2-track EP by a band called Dark Sinfonia out of the UK. And like I said, it's a single. I don't know. It might be a single. I don't know. It's 2 tracks. Come on. But it's called The Cremation of Sam McGee. And it's so weird. It's a musical adaptation of a poem written by Robert W. Service in 1901. And tells the...
1907.
Oh, sorry, 1907. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Fact checking. And tells the macabre tale of the cremation of a gold prospector who freezes to death near Lake LaBerge, Yukon.
LaBerge.
You would know. Your last name is French. I appreciate that. Thank you. In Yukon, Canada. And it's so weird and like neo-folk in the way that Sopor Aeternus is. And it's just, it's a fun listen. Right. I've been, during quarantine, I've been drawn to just like really weird fucking music. Not like goth weird, which is part of the reason why I've been listening to so much like death rock and carnival death rock. It's just, I need that weirdness right now. And this totally hit that for me.
Let's see.
There was another like weird release, not weird, but weird sounding release. Maybe this will be the last one we talk about because we really do need to wrap this up. And it's going to be a bunch of letters that I know the letters, I just can't pronounce the order that they're in. So
wait,
bear with me. It is on Batcave Productions. It is set to release 2 days ago. So it is actually already released. Sometimes I forget just like what our time difference is between video recording and publishing. But so the album is on Batcave Productions. The band is
this that
Nauchny Sotrudnik?
Sotrudnik. It sounds very Russian.
Yeah, and the album is called Sirotsky Soyuz.
Soyuz, yeah, it's Russian all the way, 100%.
Well, I mean, obviously it's being released.
With the tracks on here.
It was co-released with Syrupin Records, which is, our favorite Russian post-punk label, and it's weird. I love it. It's weird. It again kind of has like a folk meets Cinema Strange vibe to me, and I really love it. But not like Americana folk, like Russian folk meets Cinema Strange, and that's just really appealing to me. It sounds great. The track that I was listening to was the title track, which I'm not going to even try to pronounce again.
Sirotsky Soyuz.
So, I strongly recommend going and checking that out, and just giving Batcave Productions some love. They have a great catalog. I've been spinning a lot of stuff off of Soma 101's release 1984. Because I just fucking love Sarli, Usher, and pretty much anything that any members of Los Carniceros ever did after Los Carniceros del Norte. But that's neither here nor there. They got a lot of great releases. Ian, is there any other release you really want to talk about? I know I've been talking so fucking fast.
No, you're great. You're
so
doing
fast.
Let's see. When does this hit? Oh, that already. No, that's not it. Talk about Vandal Moon.
Yeah, Vandal Moon has an upcoming album.
May 15th.
May 15th.
Black Kiss.
Oh, that cover is so 80s synthwave. Come on.
I dig it.
I am looking forward to hearing more tracks off the album. So far, it doesn't grab me as strongly as their last album, which was called Wild Insane. But I'm looking forward to hearing some of the rest of the tracks on that album.
What great names for tracks! Robot Lover.
Oh, have you ever listened through through Vandal Moon's music?
Mm-mm.
I strongly recommend you do. Like,
Okay.
go to Wild Insane and listen to Baby Sounds and Computer Love. I spin those 2 tracks a lot. They're great. Blind Seagull released their single Stray. That's another little bit of Russian post-punk that we love. Speaking of other Russian post-punk that we love, Sirpian released on the 20th Nürnberg's Paharda album, which more just great Russian post-punk, which I love Russian post-punk. I mean, so does everyone else right now. Molchat Doma has unexpectedly blown up into goth or post-punk fan spaces, which is cool. But yeah, it's more Russian post-punk that we love. And I think that's it.
I think that's it. I think we've burned through the time on this.
Oh God, we have. So it's come to the point in the video where we like to thank our Patreon supporters at the $10 tier or above. I really appreciate everyone who supports our show, who is helping us continuing to do these live streams on Fridays, the live streams on Thursdays, because has that been a steep learning curve on those, but we figured it out. And sorry we haven't been making more videos. Mouse has been on, quarantine's hitting us all hard. Mouse just has needed to take a lot of mental time. So thank you, Ian, for joining me and helping me do the news episodes. We're hoping to.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. I'm going to be still working for myself on my own videos. I've been extremely slow to get those out, but I appreciate you having me on the show and letting me help you out. So
no, it's great. It's much appreciated. I need it. I can't do this alone. So starting from the top, I just want to thank our Patreon members at the $10 or above tier. Thank you, David. Thank you, Demetria. Thank you, Libby. Thank you, Junkyard Bat, who is joining us in the Patreon-only live stream. Thank you, Acid Bitter. Thank you, Skullgirdle. Thank you, Mason Shiver. Thank you, Medusynth. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Two Broke Goths. Thank you, Sybaris. Thank you, Uncle Fester. Thank you, Max Shrek. Thank you, Dea. Thank you, Dea Siculus. It's been a while since I've read these. Holy shit. And last but not least, thank you, Cadaver Kelly. Y'all are amazing. Everyone who supports the show is amazing. And I love all of you so fucking much. And I'm tired. I'm gonna go to bed.
Well, I think as much as you love your audience, what you guys do at Obscure Undead is really awesome for the community, for the goth community. So thank you for putting this all together.
Oh, Ian, you're being too kind.
Oh, whatever.
But I appreciate it. Check us out on Thursdays. We are doing live streams. We're talking goth shit. I mean, it's kind of we can't decide on the name for the series. It's either Let's Talk Goth Shit or Subculture Shock, which we enjoy both. We've talked about topics such as sex, fetish,
elitism.
Will it goth? So whether or not certain like 80s bands are goth or not, we discuss why or why not. We have an upcoming one tomorrow, so in the past, by the time this video comes out, for the general public, on mental health, because doggy, do we need that right about now?
Yeah, I think everybody needs a temperature check.
Yeah. We have guests on those. For the mental health one, we're actually having someone who's both a licensed therapist and a goth involved in the scene. So that's cool. That's really cool. And then
she's a full lady.
Yeah, so. She is real cool. And then Fridays we have our Obscura Undead nightclub, our weekly live streamed nightclub, where we have 5 different DJs spinning 5 different styles of dark alternative music, all at the same time, so you can room hop between them. We'll probably be switching to Twitch or Mixcloud Live if we possibly can this week instead of streaming on Facebook or I almost said Twitter for some fucking reason. Facebook or YouTube. So follow us on Facebook because we'll post our landing page there, which has links to everything on it. But in the meantime, like, comment, subscribe, do those things if you feel so inclined, and we will see you next week because we're gonna get these things back on fucking track. Yeah, exactly. So,
yay.
Good night, bye-bye.
Bye.
Wait, I need to figure out how to wave properly. Oh god, it's been a minute.
Bye.